There is absolute truth. And there's a prophecy. We've been given a prophecy from the judge, the authority, the one that knows the absolute truth, the Almighty Father. He's given you a prophecy through Christ and the prophets. We are all in a two-kingdom war, the fallen against the holy. Genesis 3:15 explains the two seed lines at war with each other, two seeds at war with each other. The seed of the woman and the seed of the serpent. To cut a long story short, because of the fallen angels, there are Nephilim, fallen angel, human hybrids. And they rule the world and have captured it. They're the ones that killed Christ and run the fake religions and the Judaism and the Paulianity and the Islam and the rest. And they've got the banks and they've got the banks and all the governments and the militaries and all the churches. And they put out the globe lie, heliocentrism, some pseudoscience. And they've been providing forbidden knowledge for a long time, since the beginning. The Book of Enoch, known as First Enoch, is explaining what the fallen angels are doing, that was above the humans, leading them, that the Father and the holy angels never did, had not done. That the fallen were providing it and doing it for them against the Lord and the humans. The fallen angels had the humans doing it. So to cut another long story short, advanced science enabling the advanced technology that you have is not from human thought and development and evolution and work or alien intervention, but it's actually just fed by the fallen angel enemy of the Lord, Satan. Check out the macrobes video where a dumb person, Michael Tarian, explaining the story. Where the Masons and the British, the elites, are explaining that they've been working all things by some otherworldly, above human, non-human intelligences. It's a story. And it's connected with, actually, they're admitting that it's totally alluding to explaining that they're trying to get through a barrier in the sky. Code name Stargate. The 500-year-old story, but the plan goes back to the Garden of Eden and the fall of the angels. And they like building big towers and skyscrapers, but the Lord doesn't. And they've got fireworks and missiles and rockets, and the Lord doesn't like those either. But don't worry, kids, because the humans aren't to blame. They'd have never been able to make them on their own. They're not the humans' idea and wicked inventions. So the angels run your governments in this world and have built the grid, and the elites call it their new Atlantis at times. They hide the flood with ice ages, with their Big Bang evolution story. But they're saying that there was something happened with some water somewhere or something. It was there and then it wasn't, or something. There was something and then it was gone. There was technology and then it was gone. So to cut another long story short, Christ came. Oh, I already said that, and they killed him. I've said that. Christ contributed to the prophecy of his return, and so did his prophet John, book of Revelation. Got a quote here from Jesus and John. Jesus and John, Jesus and John, and Jude too. You know, like Rita and Sue and Bob too, but just get our priorities right. Let's sing about the Father and Son, the Father and Son, and the Holy Spirit too. So people, this prophecy, and I know what's happened. I know what's happened. They're hiding First Enoch. They're hiding what's in Isaiah 63. They're hiding Psalms 2 and the importance of a decree from the Son of Man. You've got everyone focused on what the Antichrist is doing in fear and worried. They're not getting people really focused on the Son of Man, the Lamb, the return of Christ as much. But when they do, they've worked out using their Paul saying that there's a rapture of saints. They've hidden the good seed, but they'll talk about harvest at the end of the world, where they're saying that apocalypse and Armageddon's a war in the Middle East for the Jews, and have the Christians and Paulinists linked in with that against like Islam. And they have it all in the context, the pretense that it's all about their governments and militaries. So you're seeing people think that just some Jews over there can just start building a temple and that's got something, or Trump can declare a decree and that's got anything, or Pete Hegseth can rename this and call for a battle at Armageddon. They've got you all in government mind control and thinking that those hierarchies there that lead your governments are something to do with the actual spiritual kingdom, when you're all just factions, parts of the fallen's kingdom. So there are lots of decent people. They're not the good seed, but they're decent enough, honest people. Of them, they're not the good seed, not sufficient at grassroots. But there are no decent people on TV and running politics and everything. They are power hungry, showed by the devil, absolutely lost, selfish elitists and stuff. And a Rupo and a Tommy Robinson ain't gonna do anything to deter my holy angels from exterminating everyone. And in Matthew 13, it's recorded where Christ had eventually said that the Son of Man comes and sows the good seed. And then there's this change because of the situation, the paradigm, the new covenant that is declared. And so the people needed to be born again Christians and keep law, and they're waiting for Christ to return. Then when he returns, he sows the good seed, and the people are needing to get with him. And you'd think, wouldn't you, that born-again Christians would be killing up and rolling up and spreading it to the others and all just be seeing it and getting it and the first ones to get it. But it's just the case that sort of anyone's welcome, and the born-agains were sufficient, and they are born again, but they're needing to become the seed. Likewise, anyone that becomes the good seed that hasn't been born again, they can become the good seed, whatever they do and don't know, they can become the good seed, but they must become born again. So for 2,000 years, you needed to be born again, or you were a tear. And you were all in a two-kingdom war, and you didn't have an official leader or anything. The Catholics would have you think that that is Zion and the official kingdom in the earth through Peter for Christ, that the Pope reps for Christ officially. The British monarch is being crowned in a way that that is the official leader for Christ from Zion, and they're taking it Islamic. America's silly and Trump's a muppet, but he's shown us his Presbyterian Bible from Jamaica or whatever. He said he's really impressed with William. That's worth noting. Sitting Ducks and the leader there is impressed with the diabolical Nephilim king to be in my nation here that's like the New Jerusalem. So Revelation 3:12, Christ comes with a new name. You get to the end of the book and the second white horse rider that's replaced the first, credited for heaven seen open, and he's got a name. So remember, it's a new name. From Revelation 3:12 has a new name. So when he shows up, the new guy with a new name, and it says that he has a name written, it's talking about his new name written. So John quite couldn't make it out what it was. There was like a name, he knew it was the name, but what's it saying? Maybe he was saying Samuel Owen, but in English, and he couldn't figure out like what that was and what it meant. And thigh, written on his thigh, thighs symbolic of a legacy, one's legacy. So all that stuff saying there on Revelation 19, it's like saying he's like all that's like that's what he's done, and that's what his story is, and that's what he can be credited for. That's the when everyone else has done nothing or they're complaining, this guy came and fulfilled the prophecy, the faithful and true one, the second white horse rider. Because you've got all these descriptions, because it's like Christ's giving you 4 gospels with doctrine, and he didn't mention grace because there's more to it than just, oh yeah, and then we're saved by grace. With the prophecy, there's lots of prophecy and lots of descriptions and telling you lots of details, because the enemy could split it all up and show you half of it and throw you with it. Or just the fact that he just doesn't come on a cloud flying for everyone to see, like it says symbolically a couple of places. It has meaning, because it's the ancient inspiration for modern fiction in a lot of cases with superheroes. And so it's a fictitious symbolic telling. So something's been fictitiously symbolically represented. So there's something's being said, a sharp sickle or a crown or some horses or something. But the Son of Man on his journey that you're all looking out for because he's the leader, the saviour, his ascent to not just leading, figuring stuff out, but figuring out he's the return of Christ, figuring out he is the actual one and only official leader with confirmation by the Father in the way that that's being done. So there is the way that the Son of Man's figured it out and been brought to it through learning and prayer and his enemy confirming it, as well as him seeing it. And that's being represented as his ascent up to heaven to get the rod of iron and meet the Father, like Starmer met King Charles after he came in. And then instead of me making that into a compilation and giving it you, my laptop was crashed. Controlled opposition. They are pretending at grassroots to be the people against the monarchy, the governments, but they are their kids, their grandkids, their agents. The good seed is is very important because that's what people need to become. And strategically, it's the Son of Man wants the people to get it out with him and work and see what it's like and better themselves and earn rewards and chip in and help. There's the campaign to spread it out to all the nations, which will trigger the rapture of the wicked. So because everyone's not so bright or psychic or just totally on the same page, he's trying to put them. He's declaring what they all just have to do. There's no choice about it. The other choice is perish, die. So that's what the sharp sickle's for. It's come into the kingdom and do this minimal stuff now under the King, that's the Messiah, and become worthy through transformation, realization, appreciation, crediting, and more. In your transformation, your learning, becoming an aware and appreciative, and perhaps doing your bit. So the 14-year-old to 50-year-olds, you're being commanded to do your bit, just generically, just men and women should all just pass on Christ's cause, yeah? Pass it on now, people, offline. And that's it. You are sowed by the devil to only respect Trump and Farage and Rupert Lowe, or now Tommy, because of how they're like, or the numbers. I'm just the Son of Man to keep removing my stuff. It's just different, and the numbers. That's what we're fighting for, to save every one of them. The more, the merrier. But the numbers don't matter. That I've sown the good seed, and my holy angels will exterminate you all. I'm the lamb that called out LSC in 2018, right at the beginning of 2018. You can see there that Revelation 6:1 and 6:2 has been fulfilled there. I'd say I sowed the good seed before Revelation 12:5. Revelation 12:5 is the point. About a year after that, I'd acknowledged that. And 2 chapters later, I'd say, I've just said there was a period. Well, around and shortly after that period, I was announcing straight away, as soon as I was confident, ready to. I'm the King of the Kingdom of Truth, the Son of Man, the Messiah. That's who the return of Christ is. That's some functionality about it, rather than, like, you need to know this stuff. You're all crazed in a 2-kingdom war that you don't understand. Brenner put together a very elaborate, convincing, thorough model of science, history, truth, and stuff. Their academia for the universities. Everyone's getting that, other than like the North Koreans or something. Other than that, for what the fallen have got with the Masons for the mainstream, where they push the pseudoscience as legit and everything. All nations got the same heliocentrism that's credited to Europeans. But they all jumped in, and they're all repping for the same globe lie. The people don't have anything. Like Christians don't have something that really rivals Roman Catholicism. But Mormons and Jehovah's Witnesses have got a little cause together, rivaling it with a ball rolling. They're just smaller, outdone. You don't have somewhere where, other than the cosmology groups that are connected to the politics and shepherding war. So the cosmological groups are representing, they are assisting any political group within that sort of with that model, or they are the political groups in the lack of any other. So LSC had the only concave group in the world, and it was really sort of demonstrating when he was working, that he wasn't just the only concave out there wanting to teach it all the time. That he was really sort of the pioneer at the forefront to be credited way beyond anyone else. Like if you were only interested in concave earth science and teachings and someone that's been out doing that, then he was the king of that. But he was the king of the trolls at the top of this trolling pyramid, where the most sensitive, biggest secret in the world's being given through a false Christ age. And they've done it before, a century ago with Cyrus Teed. Some of that content and the story remains at the top of the pyramid. They're going to give you LSC, start luring you in, thinking that is maybe the return of Christ, and showing you radar data of heaven in the centre that people haven't seen in any other generation. So heaven's being seen opened through various different CGI and a few variations of some radar data and such. This is what's meant by it, people. If you read General Epistle of Jude, verses 14, 15 and 16, well, that's towards the end of prophecy fulfillment, and it aligns up with verse 14 of Jude, aligns right there perfectly with Revelation 19:14. Both those 14 verses are talking about the exact same thing. This period is at the end, just before it spreads to all nations and the rapture of the wicked, because it's talking about he has 10,000s of followers, saints. They ain't just flown out of heaven or something. And he didn't get them on day one, because earlier, Isaiah 63, 1-8, is verses 3 and 5, he's on his own, no one's with him, he wants help for a while, and he's wondering why no one will help him for a while. So he starts off on his own. So B, General Epistle of Jude is explaining that he eventually gets 10,000 followers. People are still rejecting and murmuring and complaining. And it's forwarding what Enoch said, and it's telling you that you're to get involved and help out with this war. So you're not just spreading a good seed, you're doing a lot of speaking and thinking up the rhetoric and going and having discussions and arguments. And we're at war for you to do what it says at Jude chapter 1, is just one chapter, verse 15. So there's a decree in Psalms 2. There's a decree, you're going to have to obey that. And it's about the good seed that you've got to become, which is the kingdom. So when you become the good seed, you become a child of the kingdom. And there's a decree that you've got to obey. Maybe some more instructions from the Son of Man. And Jude verse 15 is telling you to do that as well. You're supposed to be getting involved doing that. And verse 16, that the humans, thinking that the Messiah is going to be a Superman or lots greater or just recognised or followed or a celebrity or something, because they're sort of clueless and sowed by the devil and ignorant, they don't know what's holy and not, and who's truly working with who and from where and doing what. They don't really know what's what and what's superior or not. They're just seeing lots of people having fun and having success, and trolls and some people way off wannabes thriving, and they're just looking at the Son of Man like he's trash, because the trolls are against him, people don't know who he is, or they've been against him and they don't get it yet, and they've got all these assumptions and they're wrong, and the enemy keep removing all this stuff to feed that and give this image that is just started now, or is just another one, or there's nothing to look at, or remove all the evidence that he'd put there. They offered me a blank check to stop what I'm doing. They wiped me out as soon as I sowed the good seed and started putting it into people against secret societies. So I'd made the new tiny good seed group. added 12, like a dozen people around online, friends and stuff into it. Started posting it into people against secret societies. One thing or another about any of this stuff. Had them just remove all my stuff then. Facebook profile, second main YouTube channel, biggest Facebook group that they'd allowed to grow for years. It was all wiped out that week, and then they locked up Epstein, and people debate whether he was really killed or not. That's been the story of the decade, apparently, because they gatekeep the good seed. They put the virus out 3 months after. I declare a decree, people won't obey it. I've tightened it, shrank it, limited you to 2 months, 60 days. After them copying people against secret societies and sending up Josh to rep as a quote-unquote Christian concaver against trolls, they've then gone and copied that 60-day decree and had Trump threaten Hamas hostages. Or it's very similar. I've also sworn and said the F-bomb, and then Trump's done that a couple of times as well. No one's got a leg to stand on. I'm the son of man. You're all just wrong. I don't know everything. And sometimes I sound vain or condescending. Like, I'll give you that. And I might look to have embarrassed myself, and you might be totally just struggling and ashamed to recognize and bow to me. But you know, we have an idea of like high caliber or eloquent or like what is perfect or greater, and just maybe just the son of man, maybe Jesus just walked around like a guy. So I could speak with some accent that pleases this gang or that gang, some Londoners, whatever. Just one people are going to be like, that's familiar and that's the way we like it. It's just chaos. Like, you think that the son of man needs to sort of this, that, fly down, be pompous, be recognized. You want to bow when it's too late for you at this point now. Because originally, if you'd have just got on with it, you could have joined the bandwagon, that were fine. But me telling the whole human race, when your psyche understands and registers my 2-month decree and I'm Elohim, then you're on the clock, and if you disobey it, I'll just get rid of you. I'm going to end the stream there and listen back to this and see how much audio has been cut out of this. And I've been struggling for the last 2 years on my 6th channel, and I'd like some of you to donate my way instead of someone else's way, where I'm monitoring every son of so good. The opposition, the enemy, their strategies. So everyone's being like, over here to Tommy Robinson and whoever, Maya Tusi and whoever, unite the kingdom thing that's arrived in